Hey, yo, what up? This is Belly. Make sure you check out my interview on the Bootleg Kev Podcast. Let's go.
All right, yo, it's the Bootleg Kev Show, man. We got a special guest in here, my brother, Belly.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Had to pull up, man. Had to pull up.
Of course, man. I've been extremely privileged to actually listen to your new album that I don't know when it's coming out.
I don't know when it's coming out.
But you got a few records out from the album. You just dropped the Moneybag Yo project or song rather, and video, right? Video's out? Yep.
Yeah, video's out.
But this album is it's got some I don't want to give away too many of your secrets, but it is man, you've had, in my opinion, like projects that I consider personal classics, like for me. But this project feels like some of these names you got on the same songs have never been on songs together, and they're like the biggest of the big. Like this album feels like, I know it's not your debut album. I know it's not in any means your debut, but it feels like your biggest moment is like still to come. Like,
yeah, absolutely, man. And I feel like the more I created with this album, like the further along I got into the album, I was like, all right, there's something happening here. You know what I mean? Like just the songs we were able to create together and stuff. It was just like a different experience. Even creating it was different this time. I really took my time. You know, normally I'm just like, I want to just get.
Well, it's been a few years, man.
Yeah.
Because Immigrant came out in 2018.
2018, yep.
And that was your last project.
Yeah, that was the last one.
That's insane.
Yep.
Yeah. What made you take so much time off? I wouldn't say off, but take so much time to work on a body of work, I guess.
Honestly, it wasn't all working on this project. First was working on me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, I wanted to get into that because I know you went through some depression and shit the last few years. And
yeah, it was kind of like deeper than that. You know what I mean? Like, they put titles on things we go through. You know what I mean? But yeah, I was just in a position where I had been in the game for so long. I had kind of experienced, the ups and the downs of the game, and you know what I mean. Everything there was to kind of, feel, and I don't know, man. It just got to a point where I was like, this is all I've ever done. Like I want to just sit down and just see what my brain comes up with. You know what I mean? And really, it was like an investment in myself because I didn't really work, or at least like, work in a way like where like money was coming in all the time. Like it was really, right. I had to like block that that financial fucking.
Yeah, because you're always motivated by the bag. As an art, you know what I mean? It's like, yo, when you have so much money coming in, and you kind of have that mental expectation in your head, like I'm sure that's a hard thing to turn off.
Yeah, but it was at a point where it was like, cool, I could die right now with however much money in the bank.
And then you have your residual money coming in anyway from publishing and music and all that. But
yeah, but I mean, when you sit down, like the career that I was blessed enough to build, right? It sustained a lifestyle that I was blessed enough to live. Mm-hmm. And then when you cut that, you really realize how crazy, spending habits, just the way I was living was just crazy. You know what I mean? So it was a good time for me to just sit down and just like reassess everything, and like really see. I was like, how they say, like, let the bird go, and if it comes back.
DMX said that, and that's all I remember. DMX said that. If you love something, let it go.
Yeah, that's facts. That's really facts. Because like I was like, yo, you know what? If this is really for me, the way I know it's for me deep down inside, but that don't matter right now. Like if it's really for me, then something will draw me back to this, and I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna feel better about it than the first time I ever did it. You know what I mean? So
as far as music,
yeah. Yeah, so that's how music started to feel like.
You started to feel like work
before the break, before the hiatus. Yeah,
felt like a job.
Absolutely, and it wasn't like I was, being told like do this or do.
Right.
It was just going in the studio. It was just like, all right, like like what now? You know what I mean? And it was the best thing. I think the smartest thing I ever did in my life was to just sit down for a second and just take a breath and just, figure things out.
What was that motivation initially where you came to a point where you were like, I gotta do this? Like, I gotta, were you just overwhelmed? Like, was there a breaking point where you were like, if I keep going down this path, I might go crazy or something? What was it?
I think I was just like so focused on all the negative things that were going on in my life. You know what I mean? And it was a lot of things. It was things on a family level.
Right.
Things on, obviously financial levels and all everything. You know what I mean? It was a lot of things going on with my career, everything. So I think like when I wanted to step back and really take the break, it wasn't like a decision I made. It was, I just can't go there right now. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, there's this thing going on or this event or this session or whatever. I can't go there right now. I can't. Like I would be doing you a disservice if I showed up in this state. Like I'm no good to nobody right now. I just need to go somewhere and just figure my life out. You know what I mean? So that's what I did. It wasn't like a specific moment. It was just like me just being so repelled by the other shit that I just wanted to get away from it.
And what because I remember I tapped back in with you, I think late last year or something, we had to talk and you were like, yo man, I went through a real bout of like being down, you know what I mean? And what exactly like was the breaking through point for you where you were motivated again to make incredible music? Because your album is incredible.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be around some geniuses and some people that do what they do at the highest level. You know what I mean? And I think just getting to watch Abel firsthand, the Weeknd firsthand,
of
make
course.
music and just
crazy run he was on. I mean, just that album. I feel like it's just. I've never seen an album with more legs.
Yeah, man.
Like he's gonna tour for that album next year, and it came out in 2019. Like it's crazy.
And honestly, the album deserves it because it's like those are the things that inspire me. When I watch someone put together a masterpiece like that, and I got front row, seats to the show, like that's inspiring. Those were some of the moments that made me be like, yo, yeah, you know what, I do love this. There's something about this that it's something that's different than anything else on the planet. Nothing else can make me feel like this. So those are the moments that started to kind of swing me back. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I mean creatively, like I feel like you're kind of when I meet other Belly fans, it's like we're like it's almost like an exclusive sneaker club or something. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's people, like Jeep owners.
Like if you know type shit. Like, oh, you fuck with Belly? Oh shit. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love that though. I love that, man.
Yeah, because I still feel somehow you still don't get your flowers as far as just your talent and your catalog. And when we talk about the best rappers, and obviously you haven't, you've taken a few years off, but just in general, I feel like your name should be in more of those conversations.
It's cool. I think it will be. I think it will be. Like, I get to feed my family with this, man. Like, I get to support my life. I get to do whatever I basically want to do, doing something I love every day. You know what I mean?
And by the way, congrats. I know you and your girl just took a big old step.
Yeah.
And you told me about it like last month or something.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
And you had to go to New York to like meet her family?
Yeah. When I met the family, amazing people, man. It was like, it just showed me, like when you look at somebody's family and they're that good, you're like, okay, I know exactly where you came from. You know what I mean? So,
and if I remember correctly, you were saying your girl's Catholic or her family's Catholic?
Yeah.
And you're obviously from a Muslim background, right? So when you went out there, you tell me the story about you gifted her parents something. You had to go get a statue somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. I didn't have to. It was.
But you got you went out there to make an impression, obviously, as we all have. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think, yeah, man. I went out there, and honestly, I was nervous because in other times and other points in my life when this situation would arise, like with previous relationships I was in or whatever, man, I would show up to the house and they would go in. You know what I mean? Like I would be in an interrogation room basically.
Right.
And so I think this time I was like mad nervous. I wanted to make sure I did everything right. And, I went, bought the gift. Obviously, I bought some wine, and I went to the crib. And mind you, I don't really get nervous over a lot. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it really takes a lot to get me nervous. I was damn near shaking, you know. But from the first moment, man, like the door opened, you know, her pops was just like open arms, invited me in. It was for me. It was a new experience. I've never
had that happen.
Yeah. You know, so it was just really dope to have like that type of like welcoming response and just really, really good people, man.
Are you, is this, because obviously, you know, being somebody who's, your raps are extremely descriptive when it comes to women and shit, you know what I'm saying? Is how hard is it for you to like make a conscious decision to be like, you know what, I found the one? Like, was that, because I think we've all been in situations where we think we're in love, but I think a lot of it is lust, right? But to really find that one person, you know, I just got married a couple of years ago. It's like, it just feels different, man. Like, and like you could, again, you have
that's the best thing in the world, though.
Yeah.
It's really the best thing. Like, you know, like for me, I think when I found that, I wasn't looking for it. I think that was the best.
That's the best part about it.
The best part about it is like, I don't think she was neither. You know what I mean? It just happened. And I think that's like, you know, I know it sounds cliche and all that.
Nah, it's some real shit.
That's really
with me and my wife. Like I had got out of a real shitty, not marriage, but relationship with my son's mom. It was terrible. And I was like, all right, finally I'm free. I'm going to just get it cut out. Is it good? Yo. All right. But I was like ready to just I was ready to catch some bodies in these streets. And then her and I connected and I was like, damn, look at this. I was not expecting this shit.
That's really how it be, man. And like, I'm over all that other shit. Like I said, like the life, quote unquote.
Yeah, like I think, you know, we've lived that shit, man.
That shit turned me off so much that I walked away from the game. Like that's like that whole shit I think comes with so much baggage and like,
of course,
evil shit around it. That like it was a good thing for me to leave all of it. And then on top of that, just having somebody like Dina in my life, like it was like an important moment for me to meet her, go into my next step.
Like where you were in life. Like she kind of, I feel you. It was
important, man. Like she really, even when I was down on my, you know, at my worst, like she nurtured me back.
Leveled you up, man. Got you back, yeah.
And you know, it's a blessing, bro. Like that to me is one of the best things, if not the best thing that ever happened to me is, you know, locking down with one person and having one person that I know got my back and I got hers.
That's amazing, bro. Why is the album called See You Next Wednesday?
Man. So I go down rabbit holes with shit, you know what I mean? So with movies and all that.
Of course.
John Landis, you know, he directed like Thriller, a bunch of hit movies in the early 90s. And he would always sneak that into his movies. See You Next Wednesday would be like a billboard, or like in Thriller, when Michael Jackson gets up to walk out of the theater, you hear the voice whisper, "See you next Wednesday" in the background. That was like his Easter egg in a lot of his movies, right? So I thought that was cool, just like that. Like I was just like, oh, that's dope as hell. Like I'll just, you know, I want to pay homage to John Landis, you know what I mean? And I dug deeper, obviously the rabbit hole. You know what I mean? You'd be high as fuck just trying to find out more.
Right.
And finally, I got to the gist of the whole thing is that was the first script that he wrote, and it never got made. Right. And in that position that I was in that moment, it was crazy because when I read that, I was like, okay, now I know why this is like kind of calling my name. You know what I mean? Because the way the dots connected, it just felt like the same thing I was going through. It's like I'm making some shit right now. I don't even know if this is gonna see the light of day. I don't know if I'm gonna come back to let it see the light of day. You know what I mean? So
when you were working on this project, you were just working on it for you. You weren't working on it like to turn it into your label or to like, yo, this is a hit, or you know. No, you were just working.
Yeah. It was honestly for me, it was like getting in there and testing and challenging myself to be like, okay, what you did yesterday sucked, bro. Like I had to like really just give myself talks because, you know, like I said, it was like relearning all of this shit. You know, you walk away from it for so long it was always my outlet, like my way to like say things and all that, you know. So it was really hard to not have that anymore, to be going through shit that I want to talk about and that I want to be able to put in songs, but it's just the way my brain is taking it. It's not letting me. You know what I mean? It's not letting me put nothing on paper. I can't think of nothing witty to say around these things, or nothing poetic to say around these things. It was just too black and white in my head for me. You know what I mean? So I think it was like a challenge to myself to get in there every day and be like, fuck that. Like I got to break this wall and like do what I do. You know, this is really what I do best. You know, so day by day, I really just had to just build myself back up. And you know, God bless, the album ended up being what it was. But really, if it didn't go there, and I wasn't as proud as I am of this project, then that really would have been my See You Next Wednesday John Landis style. You know? Yeah,
I think you and I might have even had like, I think we each, when I said that was my favorite song, you're like, that's crazy because that was my favorite song. I'm trying to remember what the name of it was. I don't want to give away it wasn't a record with a big feature though. Might have been something to do with the devil or demons or something. Is there a record like, I'm trying to think. There was some man. The album is crazy, but I feel like on this project, you definitely touch on a lot of personal shit that you've always kind of grazed over a lot of your personal life, like shit with your pops, stuff like that. Like, I feel like on this project, like you really dive into some issues that you've gone through and shit. Like, talk about just your journey with drugs and shit, because that's something that you've always been very upfront about.
Yeah.
Whether it's being super loaded on shit, getting clean, etc. Like, how are you doing now? When it comes to, obviously, we're not talking about weed and shit. You know what I mean? When it comes to the other shit. Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I quit like, quote unquote, hard drugs.
Right.
I quit a couple years ago. Hard liquor too. I don't drink hard liquor no more.
So you won't, when you say hard liquor, so you're not drinking tequila, you're just.
Nah, just
wine.
Maybe maybe sake sometimes, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. But so it's just like weed, wine, and psychedelics for me now. That's it.
You were talking, me and you had a dope conversation about psychedelics, but right before you came on, you said you were thinking about writing a book, or you're gonna write a psychedelic inspired book, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
What's it? What's it gonna be called?
How Psychedelics Saved My Life.
Tell me how they saved your life, man.
Well, I think again the rabbit hole.
Yes,
right? I started reading a lot of literature about just dosing, what different doses could do for you, and it just all depends on the effect that you want. You know what I mean? So I started microdosing in the middle of the wild shit that was going on in my head.
Of course.
I started microdosing. And I'm not gonna say like, oh, it was like this magical fucking just wake up and everything is, chipper.
Right.
I mean, it was like slowly over time, like I started to gain a little more clarity, and it just kind of helped me find not even like a happiness, but it just helped me find like the beauty in a lot of shit. You know what I mean? Like I'd go outside and be like, damn, that's a fucking beautiful flower. You know what I mean?
Right.
I would have never stopped before, so I don't know, and I was microdosing, so it wasn't like making me like hallucinate.
Trip balls or nothing.
It was just like, kind of just uplifting my days, when it was going on. And I think, from there, that was like LSD microdosing in water. And then now I do shroom tea most of the time.
Yeah, see, I've never done the shroom tea. So how much will you put in the tea? Like, because
it depends really. Like
depends on what kind of day you're trying to have.
Yeah, like I like a light vibe. Like I might put a half a quarter,
okay,
to the whole pot, which is like probably six tea bags.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that right there, like if you want to get fucked up, you still can. If you drink,
all of it,
more than a few glasses.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you'll definitely get fucked up, but. I just sip it slow. I'll be in the studio working, creating shit, and I sip it slow, and it's like a different type of vibe, man. It's like it helps my brain in different types of ways.
So when you say psychedelics help save your life, would you say? Because for people who don't know, I think a lot of people don't understand like the therapeutic benefits of shrooms and even MDMA, you know what I'm saying, in certain instances. But would you consider like your experience with psychedelics to be therapeutic?
Absolutely. It didn't used to be.
Right. It used to be more probably recreational, right?
It didn't used to be. Yeah, it was recreational, and it's like I was sitting in between where like the positive effects would be. You know, there's like the hero dose, which is yeah. It's gonna make you discover yourself, and then there's the microdose, which is for your mental health. And,
right.
Just like again.
Yeah, if you microdose, you can have a productive day. You go to work. You can do all that
probably
shit.
Have a more productive day.
Yes, I think that's why people do it. Yeah. So you haven't done the hero dose yet, because I remember we talked and you were saying that you want to do it, but you're not ready yet.
Yeah, I just got to get out. I'm still like coming out the dark space. I want to be fully out before.
Because that's something that's like serious.
Oh yeah, no, that's man. It's for me. Look, shrooms never really sat well with me. When I was younger, like when we were taking shrooms recreationally, like I used to bad trip like all the time.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, and I don't want to say like bad trip is so overused, but
right.
I mean, just like that uncomfortable kind of dark feeling where shit turns into a fucking Burton movie. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like that's how a lot of my trips started to feel like. So I think shrooms, my love for shrooms came back when I started microdosing shrooms and making tea and stuff like that, because I was like, okay, this is the dose that my body appreciates. Right? This is exactly what I like. You know what I mean? And it's been, like I said, man, it's been therapeutic, life changing since then.
Have you dabbled in DMT yet?
No.
It's very crackheadish. I mean, you literally smoke it out of a crack pipe. So, if you ever decide to do that,
I'm definitely not.
You're gonna
smoking anything out of a crack pipe. To be honest,
you're gonna disappear for 15 minutes. Just you're gone.
Yeah, I've heard. I mean, a lot of my friends have done it, and stuff like that. But
that shit, and then the other shit is the ayahuasca, which is like a tea, but that you got to do with a shaman.
Yeah.
Go to Costa Rica.
Yeah,
I mean, you could do it in Orange County. You know what I mean? But
yeah, send me the address. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, that's dope, man. I think like Money Man just tweeted this the other day. He was like, "We're not doing pills no more, only shrooms." He was like the first rapper in that kind of space that I saw kind of say that. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, yo, a lot of these kids are so fucking, perked out, fentanyl and all this shit, and it's like, man, I think shrooms is got to be the next wave, bro.
Man, that shit is all them pills and all them opioids and all that shit is so garbage, man.
Yeah,
it's so garbage.
It's just dangerous. I feel like you're gambling with your life every time you do it because you don't know what the fuck you're getting.
It's like it's a sad thing to see, bro, for real. Because man, you're only here one time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
It just takes one bad pill, take
like,
you off the map.
You're only here once, man.
What was the worst experience you had with drugs, man? Where maybe like you were like, damn, like this shit really, I gotta reconsider what the fuck I got going on over here.
I had a bad situation happen to me. I mean, a couple times, but the one that always comes to mind is I was in New York. I was like going through a breakup at the time. Mm-hmm. Shit was just felt, for me, a lot of times when I get in them dark spaces, I just feel like the world is all against me. Everybody's against me. Everything is, you know what I mean?
Yep. So
I just sat in my hotel room. I didn't answer the phone, and I just got high, bro. Like whatever I could get my hands on, I was just trying to escape whatever my reality was at that time. Then I woke up on a bathroom floor. Yeah.
Wow.
And like all right here was bruised. I guess I had fallen.
Fell on your face, probably. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Shit.
And that was like the awakening for me. That was the beginning of the end. I didn't quit there. I didn't, because I was, still messed up. You know what I mean? But
yeah, man. So it's also a lot. If you're on that shit regularly, people don't understand how hard it is. You just like to quit cold turkey off some of that shit is not healthy.
Yeah.
To be honest,
But I'm glad, man. I grew a lot. I think I'm the type of person, I gotta experience things. I gotta, like, you could tell me 1,000 times what something might do.
The stove is hot.
Yeah.
You go find. You gotta burn. Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, you're right. That's how I am. So, it was a blessing in disguise. It really showed me everything that I never want to be.
You
know what I mean?
That's some real shit. I think too, like you said, like we I mean, especially you and I are probably similar in age. We kind of came up in a different era of socially when it came to some of those drugs. And I think it became so like, it's so accepted to get into certain drugs that if it was the 90s, people would like clown you for. And like you said, like, you know, you go through a situation like that, it really makes you look at yourself and be like, damn, if I was looking at me from another person's body, I'd be like, look at this fucking guy. Like,
that's really what it is. And honestly, I approach life like outwardly like that because, you know, people be like, oh, yo, don't get around this person or this guy's a bad. And I'm like, yo, you could learn what not to be from somebody, and it could be equally as important as learning what to be from somebody else. You know what I mean? And I had to learn what I didn't want to fucking be. You know, that was that moment, and looking and being like, yo, this ain't me. I don't like this for myself. You know?
I want a shout out to the homies, the LA Leakers, because I feel like you just did 3 for 3 on the freestyles.
Brothers, yeah, man.
That first one was so crazy. I felt, because that first one happened after the Flex one that I thought was after the Flex one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When Flex did his top freestyles and he put you in there, I thought it was the fucking weirdest shit ever. But anyway, I digress. But yo, you came that first Leakers freestyle was so crazy because I know Hove was a fan of it, and there were so many, like, I feel like that kind of woke a lot of people up as far as like, yo, who the fuck is this guy Belly? I mean, obviously people who didn't know who you were already, but like, how important was that first freestyle to like just everything for you? You know what I mean? Because I feel like it really kind of puts you in a whole nother space.
Yeah, I agree. That really had more of an effect than some of my, you know, biggest songs or like singles that were out. So
I go back. I probably listen to that thing twice a month.
Man, I'm forced to listen to it. I still get tagged in that freestyle every day, you know?
Hero villain, it's all perspective. That's bad.
You know? But,
false elections, yeah.
But yeah, it did a lot for me, man. It really changed my life. And I think the dopest part about it for me was what it did just amongst my peers, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of you know, colleagues or people in the game that I know or work with or just vibe with, whatever, you know, we know of each other's talents, you know what I'm saying? But I don't think a lot of even like my own friends or peers
knew you had it like that.
Knew I was gonna go in there and do that, you know. So I think, you know, it like gave me like this newfound kind of like perspective, or it gave other people like a newfound perspective. People
who weren't already tapped in. Yeah, for sure.
You know, so I think that was like the dopest part.
Yeah, was that because that freestyle came out in, was it 2018? I think it was 2018. Or was it earlier? Was it 2017?
It was earlier than that.
It was maybe 2017 then.
2017 probably.
Because after that you did mumble rap, I feel like. And mumble rap was like, I think, a project that doesn't get talked about enough because it was just bars. I mean.
It was like, you know, it was something I had to do, man, at that point. And I think at that point, not a lot of people were putting out projects like that. Like, I feel like now, especially because of what, you know, Griselda did and, you know, came back and literally just stomped the fucking game out with their shit. You know what I mean? So I feel like now everybody's really inclined to want to, you know, put out rap music and come back to the bars and, you know.
Yeah, I think what happened too, because I think, you know, Griselda has been active. Around that time they were active, you know.
Yeah,
I just think that I think that what was dope about the pandemic, and obviously Griselda was on fire before the pandemic, but I think it just kind of made people listen to music differently because they weren't standing on couches anymore. They had to listen in their car or at home or in their headphones. So I think if you like look at the best rap album category from the Grammys last year, it's like it's a lot of just bars in this motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, you know, guys like Freddie Gibbs and Royce the 5'9" and all these guys who've been putting in work. I just think it was like last year was such a good year for real rap.
No, I'm not talking about them. Like now we know Freddie and
of course. No.
We know they're gonna put out some rap shit. I'm talking about people that we wouldn't expect to put out rap shit
right now. Right.
Being like, yo, you know, like shit. I could rap. You know what I'm saying? And trying to do something that maybe 3 or 4 years ago they would have never even tried. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's for sure. No,
I think like that shift is kind of like evident now.
No, I think so too, and I think it's great for me as a fan because I listen to like Moneybagg Yo's album and I'd be like, yo, there's some shit on here that I wouldn't have heard, you know. And I love Yo's album, like, but there's some shit on there that I'm like, this is some ill, like, just hip hop shit, like.
Yeah, man, Moneybagg Yo was one of them guys, bro. Talented,
very talented guy.
So fucking talented, bro.
As a hip hop head yourself, who are you like? Obviously, you got Benny on the project. I mean, you got some other legends on the album. But who are you a fan of right now?
Say we got Nas on the album.
Oh, I don't know. Listen,
yeah,
I don't want to.
We good, man.
Okay, so you got Nas on the album.
Yeah, so we got Nas,
Uzi,
The Weeknd. No, not we can't say that one.
But, okay, so bleep that. The Weeknd, Nas. I'll let you tell everyone who you're comfortable with the telling who's on the album because I don't.
Yeah. So we got The Weeknd and Nas. It's a joint called "Die for It."
Okay, so they're on the same song together.
Same song.
All right, cool. We can talk about the song's fucking crazy.
Thank you.
It's
man.
fucking crazy.
Thank you. And we shot the video. I'll show you the video.
We were talking like, yo, this shit got to be like Victory type video. Like,
oh man,
yeah.
I think it's an incredible visual, bro. Like it's just it really looks like a movie. I'm real proud.
Obviously Benny.
Yeah, for sure.
Moneybagg Yo.
Moneybagg Yo. Man, I got Abel again on another joint.
Yes.
But that'll come out.
He's on a total of 3?
Nah, the third one is he's just doing background.
No, but he's on there though. But he's just doing the background vocals. Because I remember when I heard it, you're like, yo, that's him doing background vocals. I'm like, bro, you got him on your album 3 times technically. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, man, it's super dope, bro. Super dope.
What was it like rapping on a song with Nas? Because that is
scary.
Yeah, that's got to be scary, right?
Man. Obviously it's fucking one of the biggest honors of my life.
Of course.
Shit, you know what I mean? It's somebody that I've learned from and respected and looked up to, half my life. So, but it's scary, man. It's like, I hope Nas don't wash me on this shit. You know what I mean? That's really how I felt. And my verse was there. It was already done by the time I sent it, So
you had to send your verse in, like, because some people, they might get the Nas verse back and they might revisit their verse.
That's against the rules, man.
Okay, yeah, so that's the unwritten rules, but some people do that. Yeah, Shout out to, remember LL did that on the 4321 joint, and that's how the whole cannabis shit happened.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. But nah, so when you got Nas's verse back, were you like, I held my own?
I mean, man, I'm just glad he did what he did on it, man. He killed that shit. And I think for me, I think it's gonna cut through no matter what because it's like a personal verse. You know what I mean? It's like some real. I talk about some real things, and I think that's always gonna cut through. You know what I mean? People are always gonna feel that type of thing. So,
first time The Weeknd and Nas have done a record together too.
Yeah. Amazing, man.
What is Abel's influence on the album? Like how? Because I know you guys are very close. Obviously, he's on the project a lot. But as far as just like when he hears, like, does he give you notes? Does he give you his thoughts? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, hell yeah, bro. He's super involved, man. Like, I can't say enough about that dude, bro. Like, with everything that he's done as an artist, bro. Like what he's done as a person, and just for like the people around him, and just the blessings that he's been able to bestow on different people and just the world in general, and just help and all that. Like, to me, it far exceeds even what he's done musically, which is top tier.
No, he seems to be like, just from like an outside perspective, obviously I'm cool with you and Manny and Sal and those guys, but like he seems to be like probably like one of the exceptions when we think of just like people who made it that big that are just like loyal as fuck. You know what I'm saying? And
he's just himself 24 hours a day. Like, you're not gonna knock him off his axis. Like, he's himself. He's always gonna be that, no matter what. That's why he doesn't get weird. He'll never be like that bougie type of artist.
Ever, yeah. You'll see him at you'll see him at random shit, and you'll be like, the Weeknd's just right there.
He's for the people, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, trust me.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. You have some writing credits, like obviously with. I want to say someone just told me that they looked at the writing credits on Blinding Lights, and you have credits on that record.
Yeah, I do. Like with that stuff, I'm sure you've heard me say this before too. Like I never like to go into the songwriting stuff or like what what people see credits on.
Right.
Because like
that can mean a bunch of different things, by the way.
Yeah, and not only that, it's like, especially with somebody like, you know, the Weeknd, or like a lot of the people I work with, which is the type of artists I love to work with, are people that create their own world. They create these songs, and then, you know, Abel's pen is crazy, ridiculous. Like the guy could write his ass off. You know what I mean? So, for me, it's just like, it's kind of like a blessing to me to be like, yo, shit, you want to, you know, you want
the fact you contributed,
like yeah, like you
be in the room.
Like I'm exactly. I feel just blessed that that, you know, different artists feel like I could compliment to something they already got. You know what I mean?
Something to the table.
Yeah, because I feel like, you know, for me to, you know, give a record or whatever, you know, it could be a demo. You could get a demo and you might like it and you might record it. And I've had songs, you know, go like that. But like the artists that I really love to work with, it's like I'm really coming in.
Collaborative effort.
And it's like, it's something that's already there. You know what I mean? It's like something that the artist has had such a great vision for already. You know, and like I said, like those are the type of people that I like to work with.
No, that it's crazy because that record is like obviously one of the biggest songs of the last 25 years, but it's also a record that was so brave because it just felt like the 80s. It felt like something like we jumped in a time machine, and it was like, it's like such a nostalgic record, but it's also like a current pop hit. Like,
oh yeah,
like it
and the whole album had that heartbeat
for sure.
Love, you know?
Yeah, when you heard when you first heard that record, like prior to whatever you contributed, like did you feel like, oh shit, this is, because this legit? I mean, I think it might be the biggest song of the last 5 years at least. I mean, I know it just lived in the top 10 on Billboard.
I'm just proud that we winning as a family, bro. That's really the best part of all of this, you know.
And the Super Bowl, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like the fact that I could look around and, you know, see guys that I've known for at least a decade all around me, and everybody's successful at what they do. Everybody's happy. That's the greatest feeling in the world. That's like, you know what I mean? Other than individual wins,
of course.
Which of course, like, you know, you got to feel good about, but. Regardless, man, just being able to look around at the fam and see everybody in a good position, bro, that's the dream.
You know? Yeah, man. There's something I wanted to talk to you about that has obviously had escalated since I saw you last. I saw you about a month and a half ago. You know, I know you're very passionate about what's going on with your people overseas, in Palestine. And I've tried to do my best to educate myself on a very complicated situation. But I think that, you know, me and you had kind of spoke about like how it's like, it could be, I'm sure it could be frustrating because it's like, I feel like there's only so much you could say before people try to like label you some shit that you're not. Like you could be very critical of government, of countries, of, you know, without being somebody who's criticizing a whole people.
Absolutely. I would never in my life criticize a whole people. I'm just not. I'm a human.
Hey, interrupting the interview to tell you about our good friends at Odd Socks. Now, as you can see, I always have my Odd Socks on, baby. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, shout out to my bony ass knees. Listen, go to oddsocksofficial.com. They got all the craziest socks. These are the outsiders. You know what I'm saying? They got SpongeBob. They got Cheech and Chong. Listen, Breaking Bad, Godfather, whatever you need, they got it. And now they have underwear. That's right. You can get your Odd Socks underwear. The boxer briefs are the best underwear that you could ever fit on your ass. Trust me when I tell you. These are Chucky draws. What you know about top ramen underwear, all right? Go to oddsocksofficial.com. Use the keyword Bootleg Kev at checkout, and you'll save 20% off of your order. Underwear, masks, slippers, socks, whatever you need, they got it. Oddsocksofficial.com. Keyword Bootleg Kev at checkout. Save 20%. All right, back after the intermission. We had mic issues, but we're here. No, I mean, obviously, man, I was bringing up, you know, what's going on in Palestine, in Gaza. It's a complicated situation, but it's also really like on a human level aspect. It doesn't seem very complicated.
Yeah, I don't think it's very complicated. You know, for Palestinians, it's been a struggle for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like this like cycle keeps repeating. over and over. You know what I mean? It's like it's hard to see real change happen when people aren't being told, you know, the whole story about what's really happening over there. You know what I mean? And again, you know, like I really feel like it comes down to people having to hold their governments accountable, and I think that's the only way we could change, you know, the status quo, the way they even perceive us and look at us and stuff like that is like, you know, it's dehumanizing. At the end of the day, it's like, you know, Palestinian people, some of the most resilient people in the world,
of course,
gone through some of the worst atrocities, and all anyone's asking for, that anyone that's speaking out, all anyone's asking for is
some compassion,
some human rights, and, you know, not to see the situation through biased eyes, to actually just look and do the proper research, and then you can come up with your own answer, you know?
Yeah, I mean, from what I've gathered is like, obviously what transpired during Ramadan, how the, you know, I spoke to my friend Adam Rice, who's Jewish, and his parents go to Israel every single year. And he was like, we're wrong in this thing, man. Like, why would you do that to those people during their holiest time and expect like things like, you know what I mean? Like nobody like would ever think to do that and expect anything good to happen of it. You know what I mean? And even Peter Rosenberg, who, you know, again, is obviously a Jewish man. You know what I mean? Me and Peter talked about it pretty extensively.
Yeah, that's my guy.
And he kind of mirrored the same thoughts, you know? And I think it kind of comes down to, like you said, holding your government accountable in the same way that if Donald Trump's a piece of shit and somebody from fucking Europe is like, man, Donald Trump's a piece of shit, that doesn't mean the Americans are pieces of shit. It means that, you know, and I've heard that the guy who, and again, I'm not like the craziest, like, as far as like who's like being educated on the ins and outs of the government in Israel, but I've heard from people who I trust that like, yo, essentially the guy who's running shit in Israel is like their version of Trump, like hardcore right wing, like crazy neocon type ass motherfucker. So it's just rough, man, because like you'll see some of these images of these people and it's like, dude, like this.
I mean, his own government is holding him accountable, and he just got ousted from his position a few days ago.
See, I didn't know that. Yeah.
You know, he's on corruption charges, being accused of bribery. You know, it's all kind of. It's not a favorable human. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy to see how somebody like that could really, you know, poison the well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think too, what people have to understand too, and this, I've always said this about America, like just in general, like, yo, like, what do you expect to happen if you're, like, imagine if you're a kid in Gaza, right? And somebody bombed the building you live in, and let's say you lost your mom. Like, what do you expect that kid to grow up feeling about, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like it's a cycle that'll never end until it ends.
Yeah, I mean, you know, to me, I feel like it's just gonna have to come down to people just looking at it as a human issue. Politics on the side. You know, there's civilians, kids dying, you know, and the thing about the whole, you know, we're going to hunt a specific militia or whatever, right? And it's like, I'm all for it. You want to go find some criminals or whatever the case is, and not in that particular situation. I'm talking just
in general,
vaguely, you know. But you shouldn't be killing civilians to go get to the people that you're mad at for killing civilians. Like, it doesn't make any sense. There's got to be a better way to approach all of this.
Which is also what happened with the United States, like Obama and the drones. And I mean, this shit has like happened so much where it's like, yo, at what point in time is getting the bad guy worth killing a bunch of innocent kids? You know what I mean? Like,
it's just crazy because, again, it's like, who suffers, bro?
Yeah. And then it's almost like the cycle gets hit on repeat because Imagine I can only imagine if I grew up somewhere and my parents or my sister died or my best friend died, like how I would feel about whoever the fuck did that for the rest of my life. And it's like, it's just never, it's almost like the gang shit. You know what I mean? Like we always talk, I talk to the homies who are, gangbangers out here and like, I'll be like, yo, like what is the violence? Like, how's the violence? He's like, how are you going to tell somebody to not turn up on that crew when they took their brother or their cousin? Well, you know what I mean? It's like, like you said, it's got to be a human rights thing, man. And I think, unfortunately, I wish like our government would have stepped in and done more. But like you said earlier, it's like that politics shit comes into play.
And again, once you throw all that politic bullshit, out the window, and
that's why I wish we had Bernie, man.
And you just stop and you have some empathy.
You fucked with Bernie, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think Bernie's like the illest motherfucker. Like he should have been our president, bro.
Oh yeah, Bernie's great, man.
He's Jewish. Great. Right, like, and he don't give a fuck. Like, he's like, yo, it's about human rights, man.
Yeah, but this thing ain't about. The thing is, it's not about being Jewish, right?
No, but you know what? You're right, and we know that, and we can have that conversation. But the internet and Twitter, and it's like you're either there or you're here. No, there's no in the middle,
bro. I got people from all walks of life.
So do I.
Jewish, Muslim, Christian, Catholic, Buddhist, whatever you want to name, atheist, whatever you want to name.
100%.
That I consider, some people I consider family, friends, colleagues, co-workers, whatever. That to me never means nothing, bro. It'll 100%. Never stop my love for you. It'll never stop my support for you. It'll never stop nothing. Everybody just has to stop and look at it from a human issue.
Take the tribal shit away. Take
all the
politics,
political bullshit,
the government.
Take all the bias, all the things you want to feel. Take those away and just be like, yo, let's just look at what's going on here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No matter where you are and what country you're from, if you love your country, you're going to hold your government accountable until they're doing the right thing.
Talk about, for people, you've been an independent artist for a very long time before you were fucking with EXO. You were, I remember seeing your name for a long time. I think you had a record with The Game and you've been doing your thing for a minute. Obviously coming into the EXO fold.
I didn't have a record with The Game.
Was it Snoop?
I had 2 records with Snoop.
It was Snoop. It wasn't The Game.
Yeah.
It was Snoop.
Yeah, me and Game never worked together.
No, it was Snoop.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was Snoop. I was either Snoop or The Game. I was gonna say Snoop at first. But you come out with EXO, you have a smash record like Might Not with The Weeknd. Having a record like that, is it like a gift and a curse? I mean, obviously it's a gift more than anything, but like that's such a big song. Like it's I mean, did you find yourself ever chasing that record? Like at any point in time?
Nah. No way. No,
that happens sometimes when you come.
Because honestly, for me and my background of what I come from, right? Like I let songs go all the time, So I have no personal attachment to records, and what that did for me, like the mentality that it built inside of me, was I could do this again. Like I'm not gonna be married to this song.
Mm-hmm.
If this person as a vessel could push this song further than I can, then who the fuck am I to stand in my own way? You know what I mean?
There's more where that came from.
But guess what? I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and I'll make another one. It doesn't have to be that.
Right,
I'll
right.
make something that dope. You know what I mean?
I think sometimes that happens though, where I see artists like they come out swinging with such a big song and they almost get like lost in the sauce of that record.
Nah, for me it's like I'm happy we got Might Not, and I'm happy it did what it did, and the sound was so fresh.
The video was crazy.
The video was crazy, all that. But that's its moment. I'll never try to recreate that moment again. You'll never get that moment again.
Talk about your relationship with Nipsey, man. Nipsey's somebody who I was close with since about 2009. One of the greats. You're on arguably one of the best songs on Victory Lap. I know I'd always see all the EXO guys around Nip. Like anytime he would do an activation, I'd see Nav over there. Talk about y'all's relationship, man.
When I first came to LA, man, Nip was somebody that was just instantly, a friend. It was crazy. Like, just like 2-3 weeks and then knowing Nip, I felt like I knew him for like 10 years.
Right. He was that kind of guy for sure.
Yeah, and he would pull up to the house. He would come through with Slow.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Slow. Slow was living with me at the time in Studio City.
Mm-hmm.
and Nip would pull up, man, and just like it wasn't even about like working. He wouldn't even want to, you know, not like he wouldn't want to, but he wouldn't even play his records. He'd just be like, man, let me hear what you working on. I thought that was so dope because, you know, rappers get
everybody wants to play you their shit.
And they're like, yo, where's the aux? You know
Pass
what I mean?
the aux.
And he was always just like, nah, I want to hear what you working on. Like he was just genuinely like, you know, always interested in whatever was going on. It was vice versa. You know, like I was always a fan of Nip. It wasn't just from when we met. Before we met, I was a fan of him.
Right,
you know what
right.
I mean? So I made sure I let that be known, you know, throughout the whole course of us working together and being friends and all that. I let people know the level this guy was on was different. You know what I'm saying? Like it was something special to see somebody like that come around.
And Double Up, like, was that something that was pretty much like done, and then you added your part, or like how did you end up on that song? Because it's like I said, one of the best songs on the project for sure.
Man, they brought me the song and were like, basically, you know, Nip been wanting to work with you on something, whatever. Like he doesn't know that we're giving you this, so just, you know, do your thing, and then we're just gonna basically like, you know, play it for him and be like, yo, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, it was nuts, bro. Like I remember I did this. There's way more of that song that never made it to the song.
Did you have a verse on it ever?
I had a verse on the song.
It was funny because that was when I first got the fucking victory lap on Spotify. That was the first song I went to, and I was so disappointed that you didn't rap on it. I mean, you did your thing on it, but I was like, oh, Belly and Nip.
That part that Nip ended up using throughout the song, that was like my outro after my verse. So that was like, you know, that's how like I kind of ended my verse, and but it was long as shit, man. The song
I mean, it's a long song currently.
That's what I'm saying. The song's about to be like 7 minutes and 45 seconds.
Right,
so
right.
I was never like, damn, why didn't you keep? You know, I was just happy to be part of it. That project was a classic to me. The first time I heard it, I was like, this shit is a masterpiece. You know, in our world, that's a masterpiece right there.
100%, man. Yeah, I think we get one of those albums like every few years where we're like, yo, this will live forever. You know what I'm saying? And I think your album might be one of those, man. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I
might be in the
appreciate
discussion,
you, bro. Thank
bro.
you. I hope so, bro. Like, you know, I make this shit between four walls. I think I told you this when you came, you know, because you were one of the first people that came through and listened to the full length, mastered versions of the songs, you know? I think I told you that, like.
You had your producers locked in, your guys that were there.
It's hard because you make shit between four walls, and it's like you're the only opinion that's on it. You know what I mean? So sometimes things feel personal to you for certain reasons, but you know, you're being biased because again, it's your song. It's like, nah, but I said this and that shit resonates. Nah, it doesn't matter. None of that matters. Now, when you leave the four walls and you know people like yourself come through and listen, that shit is really nerve-wracking to me because I'm like, nobody's heard this shit yet. Like I don't know. I till now I still get like butterflies about it, and I don't know, like, you know, I still get like kind of nervous about it before I play the music for the first time for people. You know what I mean?
And we have no idea when it's coming out yet. Probably before the end of the summer, assuming.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I think probably towards
July.
When's the beginning of the summer?
We're in the summer right now. I was just in Arizona. It was 118 degrees. So you're going to Palm Springs this weekend. It's gonna be fucking. It's gonna be up there.
120 degrees tomorrow.
Jesus.
120.
120.
Yeah.
You're going out there just to create, right?
Yeah, going out there to create.
Vacay.
Just
maybe hero dose.
You know what I mean? Just
maybe.
Just let go, man. It's a lot. It's a lot, man.
Yeah, man. There it is. Anything? I mean, I know we talked. You're gonna be doing some weed shit soon. The book. So this book that you're gonna write, this is like like you're going through with this for sure. This is like something where.
Yeah. I'm like the book. It's not one book too. I got a few ideas. This is just the one that I'm like most confident with because this is like something that this is the era that I'm just coming through now. So everything's still fresh in my mind and I can talk about it and talk about all the benefits that I had from it. So,
you know, it's crazy because you're such a movie buff. Would you ever consider and you're such a great writer, would you ever consider like writing fucking screenplays?
Yeah, I would love to, man. I just feel like, that's like not my area of expertise. So, you know, I would want somebody to just kind of show me the ropes, you know? And I always feel like that, like, it's just good for somebody that's in that world that knows the little ins and outs and just the little things that people look for.
Like you said, you're going to do this book with like an author, right? Where you just kind of, same
yeah.
kind of shit, right?
Yeah. 'Cause I'm, you know, like, I could write, man, but I'm not going to sit there and write a book. It's just not going to happen.
No, yeah, no.
My mind races too fast.
Yeah.
You know? So it's a good way to do it. I just get the writer there, and then I go on my little rants. And before you know it, man, we got books. You know what I mean? Because this is real shit that I went through. So when I talk about it, I can talk about it clearly every time. This is all shit that's still fresh in my mind that affected me, you know, in big ways. So,
have you decided? You know, I think when I engaged my wife, we got married like inside of 2 years. I was like, yo, I don't want to be one of these fucking guys who's engaged for fucking 5 years. And everyone's asking where the fucking wedding is. I was like, we've tried to figure this shit out as fast as possible. Have you thought about like where you guys want to get married yet?
We want to get married at the house, man. You know, at our house.
I think you had told me that.
Yeah, that's where we want to get married. Like all this, you know, big, extravagant, crazy shit. Like, man, I just want to make sure all our loved ones are there. And
it also kind of weeds out like having to invite too many people, because you could be like, yo, you know, we're doing it at the house. It's small. It's private.
House wedding. It's cozy.
Yeah, because if you get like the big venue and you don't invite like every rapper friend you have, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Especially like just all the random industry people you know. It's like, nah, we did it at the house. It was private.
You'll have a diss record coming out the next day.
Oh man. Anyway, well listen, bro. The album is hopefully coming soon. See you next Wednesday. It is coming soon. The new record with Moneybagg Yo is out. Go play that shit. Weeknd and Nas is on the album.
Yes, sir.
Video's already shot.
Yep. Video shot, man.
Was it whose idea was it to put Nas on it?
Honestly, I can't remember exactly whose idea it was, but you know, shout out to Anthony and Nas. You know, it's like it's an extended family thing.
Yeah, and then obviously the next bucket list feature you're gonna get. I'm putting it in the air. It's gonna be the Hove record. Whenever you get the Hove record, it'll be big.
I can't wait for that.
It's gotta happen.
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't think I'll ever retire if I don't get that one right there.
It's funny. Yeah, Benny said the same shit. He's like,
really?
He's like, yeah. He's like, and he's signed a, you know, I mean, obviously you're Rock Nation as well, but it's like, he's almost like, Benny's such a big J fan. He's like, I don't feel like I ever feel accomplished until I get that song.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, you know this, man. Like, when I write my raps, I always pretend like Ho's getting ready to grade me. You know what I mean? So,
what's your favorite J album?
That's tough, man. That's tough. Obviously, Reasonable Doubt.
For me, it's Reasonable Doubt.
That's just because that was my introduction to Ho.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I think that his most slept on album, though, and I think people don't give this album enough love because there's some bullshit on it, is Blueprint 2.
I love Blueprint 2.
That song, Meet the Parents, is like one of the best storytelling songs of all time. Like, whenever I like tell people, like, I'm like, yo, go to fucking Blueprint 2, press play on Meet the Parents, and like listen to it 5 times in a row. It's like a Quentin Tarantino movie on wax.
Yeah, nah, he's different, man. Hov has been different. Yeah, he's been different, bro.
Yeah, Hov's that dude, man. Yeah.
He's literally the blueprint. That's why it made so much sense to call his album that, because he's literally the blueprint for the epitome of what a rap life should look like. What somebody that came up in the streets and turned to rap.
Turned into a mogul. He's showing you the way.
The business, the everything, man, in every aspect of his life. You know what I mean? He's literally the epitome of what all of us should be aspiring to be. You know?
Well, look, see you next Wednesday, coming soon. Belly, go fuck with him. And we're going to get some weed from you soon, too.